Hello everyone, welcome. I don't know where my camera is. I'm not sure why that's not working. Well, goodness, where is my camera? Oh boy. All right, well, welcome everybody. My name's Shane Olson. Might have to have a not camera day today. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera, but all right, let's get started. I am here, just hidden. All right, we're gonna sculpt this fella from what is his name? Gabriel. Hey Neil, how's it going? I don't know why my camera decided to not work today, but it's not. I'm gonna try one more thing. It says not responding. Huh. I don't know. Anyway. Hey Hot Tuna. Yep, it is. I decided to go more of a fuller character today. See how it goes. I'm just trying to get my camera working. I don't know what's going on. But I think I'm just gonna keep going. Here, we can just use this little logo. We'll put that over there. How's that? Okay. Let's just get going. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? It's almost Independence Day here in the US. Gabriel Pinto. Thank you, Neil. That was fast. Okay, I need to figure this out because his head is obviously turned and twisted, and there's nothing symmetrical about this guy. Hey, James, how's it going? Okay, so I'm just going to start blocking out his body, and then we'll do rough posing, and then go from there. So I'm actually going to start with his chest, I think. Did it do that? All right, I'm having a weird technical day today. Thanks, James. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. I was having I had to deal with some health issues, but now I'm doing pretty good, so I'm gonna ride that train as long as I can. Okay, so there's that. Is his pelvis, rib cage. This is his pelvis. Dark Arts. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you like it. I've been using it for years myself. Can you guys see this okay? A little dark. It's weird, it's brighter on my screen. And I also have this weird line from the image. Thanks, James. Yeah, I got to deal with freaking blood cancer. It's called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I don't recommend it to anybody. Not 0 out of 5 stars. Hey, Signor, sure, absolutely. Okay. His arms are so skinny. His pelvis probably isn't that long. I'm using a lot of your pinch brush, but I notice it doesn't work with Sculptris. No, you shouldn't have it turned on with Sculptris. Do you know if there's, you don't want to enable it. You don't, because it goes against itself. The pinch brush is gathering the geometry together. So if that doesn't mean you can't use it while using dynamic topology, which is Sculptris Pro. But here, let me just show you. So we have these two pieces here. If I turn on Sculptris Pro, and then let's go to, where are you, stroke? Stroke, turn off this adaptive size, and then roll the size down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to actually scale this up quite a bit. Scale them up. Because the triangles from Sculptris Pro are tied to the scene if you turn off that adaptive size. And see, now it's pretty small here. So now if I roll this slider down, it's going to flood fill the whole thing. It's probably a little too dense. Oh, this one. Yeah, that's fine. I need to turn off dynamic subdivisions with this. Okay, we're just going to do this. It's a little easier to predict. All right, so now we have Sculptris Pro geometry here with all these triangles. Now, if you grab this pinch brush, gather brush, whatever you want to call it, you can watch it. See it gather the geometry together? See how it's bringing it together closer? Now, if I turn Sculptris Pro on while I was pinching, it's going to be creating new geometry while I'm trying to pinch, and that just won't work. It won't ever pinch. Does that make sense? So if it will work with the detail brush, see how the brush head turns purple? That means it will work with dynamic topology. So this one is displacing the geometry. It's pushing it in or pulling it out. It's not gathering it together. Does that make sense? Hope so. Okay. Hey, Steven, how are you? Yeah, isn't that awesome? I'm just like, okay, that has to be sculpted. Yeah, if you don't use it as a damn standard, this detail brush is like a damn standard. That's the one you want to use. Pinch is pinch. It's like putting your fingers together and pinching. I'm looking at the camera like you can see me. Oh gosh, my camera's out today. I literally never use Sculptris Pro. You're missing out. It's the best. I literally never use dynamic or Dynamesh. Got a cool 4th of July plan? I do. So I'm lucky enough to have, we're kind of up on a hill, and I have kind of a deck out back, and we invite some family over and we watch fireworks. And there's a guy in our local neighborhood that sets off a bunch of really big fireworks. Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Anyway, so we just kind of hang out, and you know, I'm gonna lighten this up. There we go. This is gonna look really silly, stupid for a while. I always just ever used Dynamesh, so also in iPad version. That's totally fine. It's not wrong. In fact, I used to use Dynamesh all the time until Sculptris Pro came out, and now I just use Sculptris Pro. It's completely up to you and what you want to do. That's the beauty of it. But see, what I like about Sculptris Pro is it adds geometry as I go, wherever I want. So I'm using the inflate brush right now, and it's just adding geometry. There's no need to re-Dynamesh. And Dynamesh will rebuild your entire mesh instead of just the area you're working on. So I'm going to kind of go a little crazy with this today and just sculpt it, you know? Just going to build out these toes. I wish smooth wouldn't destroy the surface. With these toes, what I can do, they kind of come out and point down. So I think what I want to do is give myself a little more geometry right here, like about this. See, and that's another thing that Dynamesh doesn't really do, is putting more detail in the areas that you need it. So I'm going to try something here. I'm going to go like this, invert, grab the snake hook brush, and I grabbed snake hook brush because snake hook works with dynamic topology. And then just kind of pull this forward. Interesting, I click to add more geo. Yeah, but it adds more geo to your entire subtool, right? Not just the area you're working in. That's the difference. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of pull the bottom out right here. And another thing is, like, Dynamesh will stitch your lips together. You don't always want to stitch your lips together, or your fingers, or whatever it is. He does have hand feet like a monkey, but they're kind of turned down and facing the ground. Looks funny with just one. Thanks for the sub. I really appreciate what sub? Just never bothered to change my workflow. I'm going to try to use Sculptris for a week. Sure. Yep, I hate that with Dynamesh. You think about in advance, like keeping lips and fingers far apart. Yep, or they will stitch. This looks like a snoot. Snooty snoot. I'm going to kind of build his toes apart, though. Another thing I can do is I can use this gizmo instead of using snake hook brush. Here, let's do it from the bottom. Is I can just pull it out like this, which will stretch the geometry. But what I can do, see, I'll show the wireframe, clear the mask, hold down shift, we'll turn smoothing the intensity down. And now we can just add new geometry and fix the stretch. This is kind of new for me. Usually I block everything in with primitive shapes, but I've been watching some other sculptors, and they can sometimes they sculpt, they're just so fast at it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try and just go crazy and not worry about being so super clean and slow, and see what happens. The biggest difference is you don't, what am I trying to say? It's destructive. The way I'm working is destructive. So it's kind of like painting a painting without layers. You know, you're just going for it. And sometimes that's freeing and looser and good. So I'm gonna try it out. Sometimes I like to block out, sometimes sculpt directly. It also depends on what I'm doing. Yeah. For this guy, I mean, he's so asymmetrical that he looks like he'd just be fun just to kind of go nuts with, you know? Just sculpt. I belong to a Facebook group called Just Sculpt the Damn Thing. And so I should heed what that says and just sculpt the damn thing. Stop fiddle farting around. Who's our concept artist? It is Neil. Would you mind posting the link? It's Gabriel Pinto, I think it is. His name is. Gabriel Pinto, right. Thanks, Neil. I hadn't really seen anything from him before, and then he just drops this bombshell. It's awesome. Good old hammerhead. And also I got to do a little ad break here. This video is sponsored by me and Maxon, of course. This is Maxon's YouTube channel, so yeah, get and use ZBrush. It's great. Been using it for over 15 years. And then I give away all of these brushes down here, and this user interface, and my custom menu right here, and a ruler. You can see this ruler. I give all those away for free over on my website, 3D Character Workshop. The link's in the description. I've been giving away my brushes for 8 years, I think. And then I also have a course. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. It's like a master class in stylized sculpting. Let's clear this out. There's over, I think there's almost 3,000 students in there now. That's nuts to me. A lot of them now work in the industry. And then if you'd like me to help you at the highest level, I have a mentorship. And that you can't find the mentorship on the page, but if you send me an email through the contact form and just say, hey, I'd like to know more information about the mentorship, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. I just opened 3 more seats for this month. And the whole idea behind it, it's group coaching with feedback every week for a year. So that's a lot of feedback. So it's kind of like having access to an industry pro or a college professor all the time. Sculptris Pro is nice by lagging my PC when I overuse. You got to be careful, James. You got to be careful because you can get very dense very quickly. One thing you can do if your machine does start to slow down is you can decimate your model, because Sculptris Pro, as you can tell, it's just making triangles, and decimation also just makes triangles. Here, after I get this last toe kind of worked out, I'll show you, I'll decimate this and show you what I'm talking about. It's a really easy, quick way to just kind of push that big fat reset button on your density. And also, if you have any questions about the mentorship or the course or the brushes or anything like that, just feel free to send me a message. You can also direct message me on Discord. My username is just Shane-O. Don't ask me how I got that, but it is. Bend the toe. Okay, so say I'm like, okay, this is getting a little too dense down here in the feet. Let me just move these toes a little bit. Perspective on? No. Okay. I like to use this little line at the bottom to kind of line up my stuff. And then I can also use the clip curve brush. See how this foot is all round and bulbous down there? Kind of weird. I can go like this, grab clip curve, drag it across here straight, just clip it off. There we go. Feet. Okay, so yeah, let's say, man, it seems like it's darker on my screen for some reason. Okay, let's say I want to decimate this. Just pop this open, go over to Decimation Master, and you can either hit Pre-Process Current, which will process the current subtool, or you can do one of these presets down here, which will pre-process it and apply it and try and get it to as close as one of these numbers as it can. So with it so low, I like trying to go low, but we can try somewhere in the middle, like 35 or 75. Let's try 75. And it'll just process it and do it. See, it didn't really do too much. So I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to go low. I'm going to go 20, see what happens. There it goes. See, it got rid of all that density. And now I can just continue to sculpt. And anytime you want, you can also do a mirror and weld. Mirror it across. And eventually, if you want, you can ZRemesh this and then subdivide it and make it really clean. So don't worry too much about this. But see, decimation, it will really lower the resolution in the flat parts. That's kind of what it does. So if you want, you can come back here and just kind of add more density back in, but I don't want to add that much. That's too light. And what I can do is I can, I'm holding down shift to access my smooth brush, but I can go on this slider right here, click and drag, and it turns into a picker. And now I can pick the density from somewhere. And you can see that slider moving around up there as I go across the surface. And then I can just kind of let go. And now I have that density. And so if I smooth with it, there you go. It's pretty close. Yeah, you got it. Okay. I think I might go a little bit lower. And good old Pixelogic added that picker in there when I suggested it. So that was super cool of them. I'm just adding this density back in. And if you roll your smooth slider all the way to the bottom, it will add the density without smoothing the mesh down. Okay, this is looking really kind of weird, so I'm gonna straighten this out and bring this in. So it looks more like a gorilla hand or something. Gorilla. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to connect these two together. So I'm going to put them in their own subtool. Let's see. Oh, looks like I lost my groups. Turn weld, bring back the symmetry, hide this one, hide that one, and then do split hidden is what I want to do. And then let's make sure we can see both of these. And then in order to stitch these together right here, all you do is go to your gizmo and click on this gear, but I want to put this in the center first. So I'm going to turn off symmetry, click on this, go to unmasked mesh center, turn symmetry back on, go to this gear, click on remesh by union, and that will stitch those together. And then I got to hunt for that gear. Sometimes it's hidden in there. Hit accept, turn symmetry back on, and we're good to go. So now this is one group that's stitched. And I can go in here and I'm going to actually lower this slightly. There we go. And I actually do want to smooth this out. So I'm going to crank that up, smooth it out. That way we don't have that waistline. Yeah, I've worked like this for quite some time. Let me smooth these out. Okay, let's see where we're at here. I think I might split off these arms too into their own subtool, because I'm going to put hands and everything on them. And then I'm going to work through this cloth. I'm making this guy for 3D printing. So why stitch opposed to just dynameshing those two objects? Because again, I don't want to rebuild the whole thing. I just want to stitch them together. I mean, I did stroke over it with Dynamesh after the fact, but typically I won't. I'll just kind of let it go. Just let it be there. Instead of Dynameshing, I wish I could remember this method of stitching. Yeah, it's just remesh by union. It will not. Let's just do a little demo here. Okay, let me save this. Oops, I can't do save next. Save as. Silly. All right. Actually, I need to go to references and grab the dude's name. I always like to name him after the concept artist. Where in the heck did it go? Is it? Oh, because I'm trying to save it as Gabriel. There it is. Okay. Now go to Z Tools. 01. Okay. Hey, Flippy Pixel. Oh, nice. I was just watching a few of your other Maxon streams. Nice. Yeah, it's been a while actually since I've streamed on here. I also stream on my own channel. It's 3D Character Workshop on YouTube. You can. I forgot to put the link in the description, but Neil, would you mind posting the link to my YouTube channel? And I go live over there every Tuesday at the same time. So you can catch me. I don't just use ZBrush, I use other programs as well. So you can watch me do some stuff over there. Okay. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to tackle next. Either I want to do this hand or maybe I'll bring that head up and out. I think I will. But I was going to show you the demo first. So what I want to do is I want to grab this body and append a sphere to it. And then we'll split it off. Split and unmask points. Okay, and then I'm going to hide these things. So we're just looking at this sphere, and then we're going to duplicate it like this and overlap them both. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference here. Let's duplicate this and hide the original. So if we look, say I want to stitch these two, let's subdivide it once and then delete lower so we have more resolution. Okay, say we want to stitch these together and then continue sculpting. So let me auto group these so you can see there's two different spheres. So if I go into this gear and I click on Remesh by Union, what it's going to do is it's going to stitch these together and make triangles at the stitch line. I'll hit accept, but look at this. If you look at it without the wireframe on, you can't even tell they're stitched together, right? So it's the same. It doesn't change the geometry. It doesn't rebuild anything. So now if we go over to the other one, okay, the pre-stitch, let's subdivide it once, delete lower, just so we're in the same idea. Okay, so now we have these two spheres and we're going to Dynamesh them together. So if I go to Dynamesh and then we crank this up, let's say 512, let's try that. Hit Dynamesh. See the center? It's all kind of garbly and weird. And then it rebuilt everything. The whole thing is all redone. So sometimes it'll melt some of your details when you're doing some Dynamesh, unless you crank it to some obscure amount. You know, like let's crank it up to 1,000. And now you're super dense and you can't really do anything with it. You know, it looks the same, but now this is your density. What are you going to do with that? That's too much. So that's why I prefer doing it the way I do it. Like I said, nothing wrong with Dynamesh. It's just fine, but I prefer not to. You've been enjoying the Nomad ones a lot. Oh, thanks. Okay, let's make this hammerhead. Let's make his neck the thing he's known for. I'm going to use this appendage. This is just an elongated sphere with some extra geometry down the length. Yeah, James, I've been Well, before I got a bit sick and I took a break, I kind of got overwhelmed too, and what is it called? Burnt out. I got burnt out a little bit. Um, I'd been doing, I'd been live streaming on Pixelogic's YouTube channel for 6 years, every Monday for 2 hours. So it's kind of hard just to be like, you know, wave a magic wand and say, poof, be creative, you know. But I did, and it was fun, and I made a lot of characters because of the forced, you know, man, I really wish my camera was working. Um, because I was kind of forced to do it. You're forced to show up, just like at a job, you know. Okay. But like the characters, if you watch my streams before, you've seen the characters behind me. Most of those, a lot of those were done during the live streams. Okay, split unmask points. Even though I don't have a camera today, there's still a lot of people watching me, so I really appreciate it, you guys. Okay, so this kind of comes up and curls and then goes like this. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and use the bend curve modifier. I call these modifiers in here. They're also underneath the gizmo in the gear right here. You see all these modifiers. There's bend arc and bend curve. So if I hit this gear and click on this bend curve, I can get back to these cones. These are like adjustment cones. And you can see this little orange dot down here and this one up here. That's how you know the axis that you're going to work on. I'm going to try something. I'm always experimenting. Okay, so I'm going to turn up the curve resolution. See, and you can start to see these orange dots appear. And these orange dots allow you to manipulate the geometry underneath. So I'm going to go like this, and then you can, there's also a twist and a squeeze. So squeeze is like a scale. There is a scale here. And then there's a bigger squeeze. They're both those two cones are on the same lineup there. And twist like literally spins your geometry. Steven. Well, you know, sometimes I say modifier so you know what I'm talking about. What's a I don't even know what those are called in ZBrush, to be honest. Okay, I'm just going to kind of try and get this as close to the weirdness of Hammerhead as I can. You're weird, Hammerhead. My buddy used to have a action figure of this guy. I really like your blocking out method. It reminds me a lot of how 2D Disney animator creates characters. That's where I got the idea from, actually, Flippy. So back in the day when I was working at Disney, you know, I had done poly modeling for, I don't know, 15 years of my career in the beginning. And so what we would do is we would model with basic polygons, do the entire character that way, and then bring it over to ZBrush, subdivide it, and then do the detail in ZBrush and then send it back. And that's not how I do things anymore, you know. And what gave me the idea, I was just talking about this earlier today with somebody, but what gave me the idea was I had an animation book by Preston Blair. Preston Blair worked on the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. And he was showing how he would use just basics, primitive objects to stay on model. So here, I'll show you an example. This way he could envision it or visualize it in 3D. And here, let's see, open the image and tab. Oh, come on now. Ugh. Sorry, I'm trying to find some good examples. Okay, I guess this one will work. You have that animation book? Nice. Yeah, see, like this bear, see this? Primitive. If you see the muzzle or the snout is a sphere, eyes are spheres, head's a sphere. You would just kind of block them out that way. Yeah, look at, like, all of these primitive objects are spheres. And then, yeah, check out this dog. See that? All spheres. Yeah, this is great. So I'm like, I remember it's almost, it reminds me of like Doc on Back to the Future. He's like, I slipped on the toilet, and that's where I came up with the idea of the flux capacitor. I remember right where I was when I thought about blocking out characters with primitive shapes and wondering if this would work, you know? Yeah, and turns out it worked. It worked well. It's not, I'm not saying I came up with you know, primitive shapes and doing the characters this way. But in 3D and ZBrush, yeah, I remember when I was thinking about that. So anyway, yeah, this is what gave me the idea. And it's funny now because now people are making money off of their blockouts like that. Yeah. Okay. It's really fun to see. Okay, so when you're done with this is probably good enough. I can just go from here. You just go to the gear and say accept. And now it gets rid of all those dots and all those cones and all the everything. And then I can come in and just zoop. See, that's kind of like dynameshing it. Whoops. I need to turn on symmetry though. Yeah, you just kind of go, and I don't have to do the whole thing. I just kind of like to, you know. Thanks, Neil. And then I can just start, like, it's funny. Sometimes you'll get these weird, like, points. See this little pokey point right there? Sometimes you can just smooth it away. It'll go away. Or you can flatten it, you know, whatever. And then I can use the move brush and just start shaping it. Or the snake hook brush and just kind of like, I can start pulling out these eyes like this. See how fast? And it just creates the geometry that I need. That's why I do it. Grab inflate. Just kind of inflate this back here. Want to create a little bit of volume for the back of his head. Maybe make some of those lumpies up here, and then continue them down. Smooth this together. And it's interesting, he's got this, it's kind of wide right here. And it goes skinny. Yeah, this is too fat through here. I want to swoop a doop it. and put these two lumpies here. I feel like the resolution is a little low, but I'm gonna keep it low on purpose this time. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that it's kind of chunky. Let's see, we got these two. I missed these two. Okay. Kind of go like this. Then I can do the inverse and pull this up. Like with Alt, you can, with this detail brush, you can pull. And then this is cut pretty deep right there. Let's go tighter with the things, because I just want to go just a tiny bit deeper down the center. I feel like I can't do what I want with that low resolution. And then you can just kind of start sketching the stuff in. And again, you can hold down Alt and pull it out towards you. And you can do this method in on the iPad as well. It's got all the same tools. So I'm kind of going from thin to thick. I need to go the opposite. Shane, yesterday I went back in time and played Disney Infinity on Steam, and when I used Boba Fett, all I could think about was the model you made for that game. It's awesome. Oh, thanks so much. That's so cool. That made my day. Thanks. Yeah, I need to go back and play that. You can get it on Steam now, and it has all the characters unlocked, I believe. I'm gonna make this bigger and this skinnier. Bit of a challenge for 3D print with thin bits. The Infinity one with lightsabers still cost more, a bit like old Star Wars toys. Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of my kids played with mine, so some of the lightsabers broke off. I have some of the ones that actually glowed. When you put it on the base, it would light up. And yeah, some of those didn't really stand the test. Kind of round this eyeball out a little bit. That's fun. It's kind of fun sketching with. This is completely going against my normal workflow. Just so you guys know. There's somebody else who does this workflow, and I'm not going to say. See if you guys can guess. And I'm like, I got to try that. He's so fast. That should give it away who it is. My watch is telling me I got to stand up. Okay, I need to crank this a little bit down. Okay. Because I lost the silhouette on this upper one. I want to bring it back. That's the guy. He cracks me up. Is this a personal challenge? Looks quite hard, or just found him interesting? Are you asking about the concept itself or the way I'm doing it, or both? Let's see. Turn down. I guess I could answer. When you guys ask me questions, there's like a 20-second delay. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I tend to be a little more methodical and try to keep my stuff super clean. But I think you can do both. Okay, I'm going to cut a line right here. Let's go bigger. That's fun. I just don't like the shape from this angle. So I'm gonna grab my move brush and kind of tweak it a bit. The concept, I just thought it was a cool concept, but yeah, it's quite the challenge for sure. And I'm gonna need to pose him like sooner rather than later, like probably like now. I wanted to get his hands in there, but I think I'm just gonna pose him. Your tip on not over touching the model is done me wonders. Nice. You know, I actually gave that tip during a ZBrush summit. And it's funny because the whole audience just laughed because I think it was just the way I dropped it. But because somebody asked the question, how do you keep your model so clean? And that's what I said. That was my answer is, well, don't touch it. And what I meant by that is use primitive objects, use, well, in the end, use subdivisions, and then don't touch it as much as possible. Like, you know, because the more you work the surface, the muddier it's going to get, which is fine for like fine art stuff like Ryan Kingsland does, you know? But for clean stylized characters, that's not what you want to do for sure. All right, we're just gonna go off symmetry, but I'm gonna show you a trick now. I want to keep his face symmetrical, but I'm gonna move his body and make that not symmetrical. So I'll show you how I do it here. I'm going to merge these two together. Not merge them, but like make them the same subtool. Merge down. I guess it is merging. It's not stitching. And then I'm going to put his head up here. I'm going to do a save as. Save next. So if you're using ZBrush 2025, there's this save next button. And if you start naming your character with a number on the end, it will add a new number to a new version of it. It's like a quick save in a video game. It's really nice. So if I go to my ZTLs here, see that? Oh, it added another number. So 01, 02, 002. Okay, here's the trick. So I do this all the time, especially with 3D printed characters, especially when I'm working, when I want to get to pose as soon as possible, but I want to keep the symmetry in like somewhere, either, it depends on where the most detail is that I want to keep that symmetry. I did want to build out these toes first, but now that they're built out, and I can build, like this hand is so much different than this hand. I can build one hand and then just kind of, you know, work it out. So it keeps it in a nice stack on the iPad too. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to leave this head exactly where it is, but I'm going to turn the body and the legs, and I'm going to turn off symmetry here. So, and this is almost like pushing the T-pose master button, but I'm not taking it to T-pose master because I don't have enough pieces. I'm just going to put this gizmo kind of right where the neck is, and I'm going to turn it so this now becomes the pose, and his body is clear back here like this. And then I'll bend his neck to match here in a second. And then I'll move this whole head and everything. Probably dip it down and stuff like that. But okay, here we go. Body's way back. And then his down about here, it kind of twists. Whoops. So let's get mask lasso. And we're going to mask off his waist. Blur that mask. Where is it? Right there. Blur, blur, blur. Move the gizmo down right in the middle of that blur, and then rotate it back forward. Okay, and then it's kind of turning to the side. Just want to say, for us on a budget, you're one of the most accessible teachers, if that makes sense. I've learned a lot from just the streams. Thanks for that. Absolutely. So here's the thing. The difference between the streams and my course is during the streams, I usually talk about technical stuff, like how to do things in ZBrush. Yeah, and this is the Maxon channel, and it used to be the Pixelogic channel. So I talk about a lot of ways I use ZBrush, the software. And in the course itself, I talk a lot about the art side of things, like anatomy and design and that kind of thing. And then in my mentorship, I take it even a step further, and I talk a lot about the art and give you feedback and help you pick characters and help you form your portfolio and all that kind of stuff. So you'll notice I don't talk too much about the art side of things when I'm streaming. I don't want to give away everything. So I'm not exactly telling you all of what I'm thinking when I'm doing this. Let's see, actually, I want to go sway. And blur it. Yeah, I get that question a lot. Like, how is your courses any different from your streams? And that's the answer. Okay, so sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm just concentrating here for a second. I can see how much further his arm needs to go. Got to think in stages. Now is block out. Major shapes, forms, no detail. Yep. Yeah, I kind of went crazy with his face, quote unquote face, just because I wanted to get those. I still consider this a block out, to be honest. I just wanted to outline those, I don't know what they are, scales, I guess. Just to kind of give myself shapes to react to. Details does not matter. Base shape, then detail. Otherwise, you waste time and you will have to do more Control Z. Trying to avoid this. Yep. Oh, and it's good. It's good feedback. That's what I always say. I actually compare it. I have a post over on LinkedIn that says I kind of think about a character like a cake. You have to make the cake right. You have to, make it taste good and be shaped correctly. and there's no amount of frosting that's going to fix that, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go auto group these guys. Then we're going to pose this leg out. This is going to look really weird for a long time. I do dev stuff, so wear a lot of hats. Hard to buy a course for each hat. Yeah, but I would consider it maybe tax time. Nice. Yeah, and I have a private Discord that goes along with the course too. And we do monthly challenges. We just finished one. And we just started a new one. This month is sculpt someone you might see in a tavern. Yeah, WJ, I call it Cringe Canyon. I needed my own tagline. Ryan Kingsland has Valley of the Suck. I like Cringe Canyon. All right, that's flat. That's gonna be, I'll probably pull his toe back. Let's move this forward just a little bit. He looks like he's dancing, like he's like Saturday Night Fever. All right, let's do this leg now. Pull this way out here. And I want to settle him down on his legs even more. That's such a stretch. It's like a yoga stretch. Yeah, that hand is awesome. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to kind of move this up. And then I don't know if I can blur this enough. Maybe I might have to fix it in post. Turn this down. And I'm going to drag his other leg up to meet this one. This guy'd fit in the cantina? Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so while doing what I just did, I stretched out some of these polys, and it's easy just to hit smooth and smooth all that back down. And then it made kind of this weird lumpy back here. So we can just grab our move brush. And it made this weird lumpy on the top of his foot now. I can bring that back down in. $67 watching today. Not bad. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. So here's a trick is, see, I can put the other foot along that line, and then I can see where this one needs to be. So I'm actually going to pull this up to about here. Blur this once and then rotate this leg so it's more down here like that. Okay, so sorry, I need to do some more things with this pose. Bend this back like this. Okay, there's a trick for you. Yeah, that is a tavern. That is a tavern. You're right. If you ever want to add something to your unmasked selection, this is the weirdest thing. But you have to hold down Control, tap on the thing that you want to add. So in this case, this other foot over here, see how it changes? And then while I'm pushing, I still have Control held. I still am clicking on the surface. I'm going to come back over to the one that was unmasked, and now I add Shift. And yeah, remember that one. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's pretty, that's working better. Okay, whew, I gotta take a drink. All right, I'm not done with this pose yet, and I gotta warp his body even more. It's so pushed, I love it. Okay, so take it from here. It cracks me up that this is such like a dance pose. Okay, I'm not going to worry about what gets broken here. And I'm going to actually turn on these pizza boxes because I want this head to move with it. Maybe I don't. Oh, so you think hotkeys are your ally? ZBrush yeah, no. So normally I just end up there we go. No, his arms are messed up. Normally I'll just use hide and show, and I'll just end up doing it that way instead of like trying to figure out those weird hotkeys. Let's see here. Like that. I know I'm just breaking the geometry, but sometimes it's what you got to do. It looks like he's coming to slide in like. And I'm trying to ignore this head for a minute, and I might not be able to keep symmetry with that head either. It's okay. I'm just making a new group so I can select this arm right here. I'm going to scale this out to be as long as it needs to be, which is about there. Same with this one. About the same length, and then I'll bend it up. Whoops. So let's blur it and then bend it. That's, I think his right arm is longer than his left. Why are you? Oh, because I pinned it. I don't think I've ever used pin in my whole career. First, there's a first for everything. I gotta hide this head for a minute. Okay, then I gotta work this out. Look at that body. Isn't that the body you want? Want to use your scroll wheel to zoom? Sorry, just alt click and let go of alt. So weird. No, what you can use is control. So here's the secret is to assign right click to your front button on your stylus. And then while you're hovering, right click will rotate your model. And that means wherever you're at, it'll just rotate it. You can hover over your model or be out here or whatever. And then alt plus right click will pan, and control plus right click will zoom. You don't have to do that weird let go of and do, yeah, you don't have to do that. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't have to anymore. Okay, what is happening? This. I'm going to turn off Sculptris for a minute. Hey, Carrie. Your work's so inspiring. Shane, cheers from Uruguay. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I hope it makes you want to sculpt. You too could sculpt a body like this. Lumpy, bumpy, lumperson. Okay. At this point here, I'm going to show you guys something. I can ZRemesh this at this point. And the reason why I'm thinking about ZRemeshing it is just because I want cleaner topology that's easier to bend in places, especially this body. I don't want to try and work out those lumps right now with this density. So let's do a ZRemesher 5. Sure, let's see what default will give us. Nice. But I do want to keep the groups. Keep groups. Yeah. I'm going to turn adaptive size down just a tad. There we go. I don't know why it didn't decide to keep groups. There we go. Okay. It even tried to retop my back lump. We'll retopologize it here in a second. But let's see what the toes did. They're actually looking pretty good. I don't hate them. Okay. So now we can use the move brush and just kind of, whoops, no. See how much easier it is to just kind of clean that up. When it's low like that. I probably should have, you know what? I'm going to do that. Here, I'm going to undo this. I was going to say I probably should have remeshed this before I bent it. But now it's too late. So I'm going to go back before the bend. Pre-bend. I don't know how far back that is there. Right there. And then let's ZBrush this. Yes. I think I'm going to ZRemesh it higher than this, so like a 7. Oh, I hit keep creases instead of keep groups. No wonder. Maybe if I hit the right button. That'd be nice. Okay. Okay, one more time. I'm just gonna, before I hit ZRemesher, I'm just gonna kind of try and smooth this out. Let's isolate it and crank up the smooth and smooth it out. Just so the ZRemesher won't try and go, like, try and keep that, you know? Okay. This time for sure. ZRemesher, keep groups. Go. Steven, that's true. The more the struggle, the better the art, right? Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I am just going to make this his kind of Jedi robe thing. Let's just do that. Why not? So with move, let's turn off topological. Just so I can kind of see where that's going to go. See, and I'm already struggling with this because I'm running out of geometry. It's stretching all out weird. I'm gonna have to ZRemesh this again soon. Do it. I dare ya. Because that'll kind of help me figure out like all this stuff. That looks funny. This little flappy bit. Okay, I'm gonna ZRemesh this. Boom. I think every time I do that, I lose a bit in the toes. So I'm gonna hide these legs and split them off, just so I don't keep ZRemeshing those into infinity. Oblivion. Into oblivion. I want to keep like bending him down more and more. And I can also grab this detail brush, hold down Alt and kind of run it along here to start to create that, I want to say skirt edge. And also when you do this, it gives ZRemesher something to follow. See how it's just really strange, like the direction is strange. So if I give it a peak, that's basically saying, all right, ZRemesher, follow this. So now when I say ZRemesh, watch this. Bonk. See, it follows it quite well. So that's kind of a way to guide, do a bit of a pseudo guide. Okay, so now that I kind of have a skirt doing what I want it to do, man, these legs, I want them longer. Longer. So let's go this guy, pull him out this way. Yeah, there we go. Grab this guy, pull him out over here. That's it. Stretch those glutes. Even more, maybe like that. It's like the ultimate yoga. What's up with E.T.'s neck? This is Hammerhead from Star Wars, man. Welcome to the stream, JC. It's this guy. Let me show you. It's this guy right here. Look at that. See? It's weird. Cantina feller. But it's a stylized take. Okay. So now that we have this, let's bend. That's not what I wanted. This. Ithorian, is that the official name? Is that the race name? Oh, it says right there, Ithorians. Yep, you're right. With a lightsaber, he's the real can't touch this. He does look a little bit like E.T. When I was a little kid, I could do E.T., but like an impression of E.T. No worries. Okay. I want to try and get him bent down as much. He's in a power stance, this guy. Power stance. That back to roll. There we go. Come on. I'm going to hit a save next, just while I'm thinking about it. All right, another trick for you. If you're doing stuff for 3D printing, you want to, if you're going to do a belt or something like that, there's no reason that you need to actually make it like a belt. What do I mean by that? I mean, you could grab a cylinder. And again, I apologize, I don't have a camera today. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I should turn it off and back on again. Let me, you know what? Give me just a second. I'm going to try it. Hopefully I don't crash stuff while I do it. My camera's way back. One second. Will that do it? Probably not. If E.T.'s hero journey ended up a Jedi. Oh man, I don't dare do the voice. It's been so long. My camera still didn't work. Nope. Still no worky. I'd watch that movie. Totally. I'd probably hurt you guys' ears if I tried it. I remember in elementary school, the teachers had me come and do an ET voice into the intercom as an announcement as ET. Good times. The ET, yeah, they are in episode 1. Yeah, up in the rafters and in one of the Senate, those Senate chairs. Okay, back to the belt conversation. So I was saying you don't need to have like a thin belt. You just insert a cylinder, shrink it down, and just kind of put it all the way through as a big thing. Okay, let's see this. I'm going to split it off though so I can subdivide it. Get rid of the lower. And it's kind of being pushed down a little bit. And if you do it this way, it will ensure that you won't have any gaps behind it for 3D printing. You won't have any resin capture pockets. But you do want to go all the way around and make sure that the thickness that it's peeking out is the same. So now as it comes around here, I know that I need to grab this and pull it down to expose it. Come on. What about resin pockets? Resin pockets are empty cavities inside your model that will catch resin, and then that resin will never get cured and it'll just stay inside your model. And sometimes it'll leak out and stay sticky and nasty. So you don't want that. You want a watertight model. It doesn't matter as much when you're printing in FDM, like the extrusion style printers. There's no liquid resin to cause issues. So it's not an issue. Okay, so now that I have this belt in there, I can tell that I want to go skinnier with it. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Once we had a model that had a resin pocket in her head, and the resin leaked out of her eye, and it made it look like she was crying. She was sad that she had a resin pocket. Yeah, the 2mm nozzle, yeah, it's really good quality. I mean, it's about the best as you can get from an FDM printer. I was referring to what are you doing to your model so it wouldn't have resin pockets? So yeah, your print can explode too. Absolutely. So basically, you know, for this belt, it's solid all the way through. It's not a thin leather piece of strap, you know, going around, because that could cause air behind that strap. So instead, if you just use a cylinder and you have it go all the way through the model, you're not going to have that problem. It's more of a guarantee, you know. Same with this down here. His robe that I'm making is not it's not a piece of cloth, like thin cloth. It's like a solid thing. But I'll go back up in here and push this up in so it actually looks like cloth. But right now I'm just kind of blocking this out, so I'm not too concerned about it. But later on I'll go and make it look like it's cloth with a hollowed out area up underneath there, but not all the way up, you know? So again, no chance of making a resin pocket, or much smaller chance. Okay, now that I have this remeshed, well, I can start to carve out his neck, and I'll probably make the sleeves and the pant legs different meshes, and then cut the feet off. Just have those as separate pieces, probably keyed up into the legs, and then have the legs keyed up into the underneath the skirt there, and then these arms kind of keyed into there. Are you going to stitch the belt to the body at some point? No, I mean, well, yes in the very, very end for 3D printing, but right, I leave it not stitched for a long, long time. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to try and bend that now. Bend it kind of forward. And it's like this, maybe? Yeah. Make sure you're looking at your model from all directions. Okay, let's get that head now. I thought I could use symmetry, that symmetry trick, but it's too asymmetrical and kind of bent like this. And down here. What do you mean by stitched? Hey Sean, welcome to the stream. Stitched means like a sewing machine, like stitched together, you know? Rather than just two objects in the same subtool, you actually like sew them together. I gotta edit this quite a bit. Do you Boolean or merge? Neither. I use Remesh by union. So I already did a demo on it earlier in the stream. So if you want to watch this stream back, I actually think since you're on YouTube, you can just grab the little playhead and just rewind it until you see two spheres in the preview. And that's where I'm talking about the difference between Remesh by union and Dynamesh when you're stitching objects together. So if you go back and watch that, you can see it, and then come back here when you're done. Okay. Sure thing. I can also use transparency or X-ray to see through here. And I kind of want to make a neck pocket for his neck to live. And then I'm going to pull with this detail brush, kind of pull this up and around to start to create that vest thing, the robe. Then smooth it back down. Same with this side. And that'll kind of pull it up flat. I always hated dynameshing to combine because I would lose details. Yep. Best tip you ever heard for the year. You're welcome. Just wondering if it affected how you mod. What do you? Oh, did Disney use the same model for the game as the printed ones, like as a base, or redone completely? We had some base meshes, but we didn't have to use them like as a game model base mesh typically. Sometimes we would if we could get away with it, you know, because that would help rigging if the topology is the same. So mainly with like the base males, the base females, we kind of had some meshes that would work that way. But a lot of the time we would kind of have to move away from it. So do you have videos on the best ways to use your brushes? I do. I have, let's see. I think on my YouTube channel, I have one. Hold on a second. It's been a while. Yeah, just this. Well, the updated UI for 2022, that one. I think I talk about the brushes and the ruler file and stuff in that one. I think. That's right there. Boostacker, yeah. So if you can follow the link down below, it says 3D Character Workshop. That's where I have my course. I've ran my course for like 6 years so far, and there's over 2,000. It's almost getting to 3,000 students in there. And then I also have a mentorship. So if you're interested in either of those, go check out 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and that's where I give away my brushes for free. And again, I apologize, I don't have my camera working today. Usually I'm on the screen saying hi. Okay, for this, I gotta adjust this head now. I pay to have a tenth of this character's confidence. There's an Ithorian in SWOTOR. He teaches your counselor to force lift a rock. I remember that. Man, it's been a long time since I played that game. After you stitch, is that the last you do before finished? Oh no. There's a lot. Stitching is just like stitching it together, and then you continue to sculpt after that. Blend, blur, blur, blur. And also I stream every Tuesday on my own YouTube channel. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. So if you want to catch me over there as well, you can. Make this longer. Does the stitch have issues if you go back to rework or smooth an area? So you use Sculptris Pro after you stitch it, or you can ZRemesh it after you stitch it. Either of those things will, yeah, it will help you kind of manage the topology or the geometry. This is Sculptris Pro geometry right here. See that? It's made of all triangles. That's how I typically work when I'm doing faces and stuff now. Yeah, this is super skinny. I want to get it skinnier, like this. I want that in there. Do you have to remesh everything after using Sculptris? I typically do, yeah. You don't have to, especially if you're 3D printing, you don't have to. But I typically do because the cleanest mesh is a low resolution subdivided mesh. See how this surface still has undulations and bumps and stuff? You can get rid of that if you ZRemesh it when it's low res. And you don't want to ZRemesh to keep the detail. You want to ZRemesh, then subdivide, then project the detail. If that makes sense. I usually do 3D printing, nothing for animation, but I hate to remesh because I lose a lot of the detail even after projecting history. I typically don't project history, I just project. I probably should project history, but I like to keep both my original and my new, so I can go back if I need to, or I can reproject if I need to. So here, you guys, I'll just do a demo. Hold on a second. Save next. Okay. You guys seem super confused about this, so let me clear it all up. Okay, here we go. I'm going to grab a sphere, insert it right here, split it off, just so we have it, and then I'm going to hide everything except for that sphere. Okay, let me turn on the grid for just a second. This doesn't really matter, but I'm going to send it home. Okay, that doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And again, we have these two spheres just to show you the seam in between, okay? And then we can do auto groups to get them in two different groups. So we have this sphere and this sphere, okay? And now let's put some detail on there. I'm going to subdivide this once. Delete lower, just so we're working at a higher resolution. And now I'm going to show you some Sculptris Pro. Okay, so you turn on Sculptris Pro right here. You set up your resolution right here. And then you just make sure that you're underneath stroke, underneath Sculptris Pro, this adaptive size is turned off. Otherwise, the triangle size is going to be bound to your brush rather than bound to the scene size. I like it bound to the scene size, so no matter what size your brush, the triangles are going to be the same. Okay, so now let's say I'm going to work on an area like up here. Let's turn on symmetry for a second. Okay, I'm just working up here, smoothing this out. And then I'm going to add, like, say, some detail with this brush. Okay, and you can crank up this detail even more to get some surface detail like this. Let's pull it out like this. You know, whatever, just some silly detail. It doesn't really matter. So say you just sculpted all this stuff, okay? Then you're like, okay, I'm ready to stitch the top and the bottom together. So what you do is you go into your gizmo, go into this gear, and then you click on Remesh by Union right here. And that will stitch it together. And you can tell because there's these little triangles all along the edge. Okay? But if you don't have wireframe turned on, you can't really tell. It looks exactly the same. So click on this, hit accept, and now we have this. Right? So what I'll typically do is I'll come in here and I'll smooth this out, this crease out. You can keep it if you want it. If you want that sharp of a crease, you can keep it. There's nothing saying that you need to... Oh, thanks. Yep. Okay, I don't know if this is even symmetrical, but I'm just going to kind of smooth this out. So when I project, it's not going to project all these facets. And I'm actually adding a lot of detail. That's okay. I should really have smooth stronger on here. Or go down in my scale. There we go. That's too low. Here, let's do, I always forget this has a picker. I can pick it. There we go. I just don't want to smooth over the top of my details like I just did. Okay, and I'm not worried about polygroups right now. Okay, so now we have this. And it has some detail and it has not detail. But I want to ZRemesh it, right? If I just ZRemesh this and try to project history or whatever, there's a good chance that it's going to lose some detail and stuff. So what I'll usually do is I'll duplicate this, I'll hide the original, and then I'll ZRemesh this new one. So let's go ZRemesh 5, sure. Come on. Okay, so now it looks like this. It actually followed the detail pretty good. Yeah, trying to crash. Okay, so so now I have this, and I can even go lower. So let's do half and ZRemesh again, and let's even go lower, ZRemesh again. I want to go really low. Yeah, now the details are even gone. So here's super low. So now what? You subdivide. So Control D, not dynamic subdivisions, but real subdivisions. So Control D, 1, 2, 3. We're looking to put this up to about 1 million polys. So that's 1.2 million. That should do it. So now we have enough. And now we show our original. So now we have both of these. And then with our new mesh selected, you just go project all. And then it will project it. And then you hide the original. And this is the new one with the new mesh. See? That's how you do it. And now you can continue on with your details. Like this, if I have my detail brush. I want to turn off Sculptris Pro at this point. You don't want to use Sculptris Pro with subdivision levels. And now you can continue to detail like this. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Any questions? Does that clear it all up? That's pretty much the workflow that I use every time. This guy's like, whoppa! Cracks me up. One thing that I do is project every time I subdivide it instead of projecting just once. I will only do that when I need to. Like you're talking about projecting on every single level. Sometimes when you subdivide too much, you will subdivide your high resolution right out of your envelope, your projection envelope. So yeah, sometimes you'd have to project either the lowest subdivision level or like one of the medium ones just to bring that back into your projection envelope. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring this back. Does that clear it up for you, Sean? Hopefully that answers. Hopefully that made all your dreams come true. Okay, let's see here. What time we got? Oh, we're almost done. We're almost out of time. All right, I want to block out this front hand here. Before getting into any details. It's kind of fun going this fast and posing and doing everything so early on. Like if you've ever watched any of my streams before, you know how meticulous I am about keeping things super clean the entire way, but it makes the work slow but clean. Just gonna come in here and just kind of inflate these edges, give it some volume, especially at the bottom. And pull this up into a square. And I'm imagining where his thumb's going to come out, where these fingers are going to come out. I've never used project in a project. Say that. Thanks, English language. Everything you showed me makes great sense. Awesome. Yeah, I use it all the time. All the time. I accidentally stumbled across Remesh by union once, and it's essentially like it's like a Boolean without a Boolean. So you're not subtracting or adding anything. You're just stitching things together. It's a glorious thing. One thing the free ZBrush for iPad needs, what? Are you talking about Remesh by Union? Hey Polyfusion, welcome to the stream. This thumb is awesome. You just can't do the third type of Boolean with it. are booleans in the free version? Okay, I actually kind of want to. They're not? Okay. I don't, yeah, I haven't spent too much time with the free version, so I don't know what it has or doesn't have. It's pretty empty. Yeah, I think that's because they want you to pick it up. Like actually purchase it instead of. Okay, let's see here. Let's use cloth and just kind of build up these knuckles back here. And right here. Well, topologically. I only use it for sketches, so it's not an issue, but having project would be a nice feature for the free version. Yeah, I don't work for Pixelogic or, sorry, Maxon, so yeah, that's a feature request you'd have to mention to them. I'm just a volunteer here. Are you using a screen tablet? Yeah, I am. I'm using a Cintiq. It's an old one, but it still works pretty good. So Remesh changes topology. Subdivide gives more detail, yes. And Sculptors, I think you meant to say Sculptris Pro, gives more detail in a working area, but use it before you remesh and subdivide. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I would say you got it. I want the big side on this side. His fingers are so skinny, I love it. And I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this before I continue working on the bottom part, because I want to bend it. Okay, I gotta do auto groups. Boom. Okay, looks like I am out of time here, but I'm pretty happy with how far I got. And I'll try, again, I stream on my own channel on Tuesdays, so you can catch me over there, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. And I should have my camera working back by then. Yeah, Lord, tell him, no worries. It's like an ant's finger. I love it. Gotta make it bigger though. Make those fingers bigger. Is there a technical reason not to use Sculptris after? No, you can use it for as long as you want, but as soon as you subdivide a mesh, that you're kind of locked out of a lot of tools like Sculptris Pro. That's one of them. Sure, Sean, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. So like subdividing is one of the very last things I do. It's like as I'm headed out the door, that's what I do. Is I project and subdivide. Or subdivide then project, I guess, is the correct order of things. I'm gonna have to go through and pause all these, or pose all of these little guys. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And once again, this video is brought to you by, of course, Maxon, the makers of ZBrush, and by me. I teach the 3D character workshop. If you're interested in learning how to create stylized characters like this, I have a full workshop that takes you from start to finish. And it's over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. And if you want these brushes, I give them away for free, along with this user interface and my ruler file to help you with 3D printing and measuring your characters. And I also teach a mentorship. So if you want to go deep dive with me, and it's group coaching. So if you want to come join us, send me a message on the contact page of my website and just say, hey, I'm interested in the mentorship. Can you tell me more about it? So yeah, polyfusion, same. I got to remember to say it because I just default to Pixelogic. But anyway, yeah, thanks everybody. You guys rock. Thank you. Have a good one, and we'll catch you either Tuesday over on my channel, 3D Character Workshop, or back here again next Tuesday. We'll see you then. All right, take care, guys. Cheers.